Most contractors don't actually have a business problem. They have a visibility problem. And you can't control and manage what you can't see. And most contractors don't have clear visibility to what's actually happening inside their business each week. They're operating based on feel, not on facts. And when you operate based on feel, the business is always going to feel chaotic. It's not because you're not capable, it's because you're making decisions without really full visibility into what is happening. And if it's our first time meeting, my name is Steve Huber. I'm the founder of Billion Dollar Contractor. Before starting this company, I had spent over a decade building some of the largest construction businesses in America. I helped build and scale companies that produced hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue every year for over a decade. And one of the biggest differences between the businesses that stay chaotic and businesses that scale with control is visibility. And so here's the core truth. Every contractor operating a business from a scorecard is winning. They're not guessing, they're not making assumptions. They have a standard scoreboard and scorecard that they look at every single week. Because when you can see clearly what's happening, you make good decisions. And when you can't, you're forced to react to what's happening. And a reactive business is always going to feel unpredictable. And so I want to give you the 5 numbers that every contractor should know each week, not approximately, exactly. So you're not saying, I think I did this, or we did roughly $50,000. It's going to be exactly what the number is. If you don't know those to begin with, you're probably in trouble. The number one thing that you need to look for is leads. How many new opportunities entered the business this week? For example, it could be how many phone calls came into your business this week. Do you know that number? Are you tracking it? Could be how many website forms got filled out, how many text messages came in, how many leads came in, how many new opportunities came into your business last week. You need to know that number. It needs to be tracked every single week. So see if you can fill that out and understand how many leads came in last week. Of the leads that came in, how many appointments did we schedule? Or how many sits did we hold? So if you're knocking on doors, a lead may be how many doors we knocked or how many people we talked to. An appointment could be how many inspections did we do? Do you know that number? How many leads, how many of the leads that you had come in turned into real conversation? Number 3 is going to be sales. How many deals did we sell last week? Now, what I don't want you to do is say, I think we sold 3, or we got a couple verbals on 5, but we actually signed paperwork on 2. You need to understand how many sales did you have come in last week. And along with that, number 4 is the revenue. What was the actual revenue that you produced last week on the sales that you made? So you sold 3 jobs. Great. You can't just say it was for like 40 grand. I want to hear it was for $53,652. Needs to be exact because it pulls us down to number 5, which is our marketing spend. How much money did we spend to generate the opportunities that we brought in? If you don't have great visibility and great systems and you're not great at tracking those things, just ask yourself those 5 questions. Leads, appointments, deals, revenue, and marketing spend. That's it. And from there, you could start to really shrink things down and identify where things are breaking. So when you have numbers like that, you're just going to get a high level of visibility to where things are at. They're going to show you where problems exist. If leads are low, the issue is lead gen. If appointments are low, the issue is conversion from lead to appointment. If your closes are low, the issue is sales performance. We sat all the appointments, we didn't sell enough deals. And if revenue is inconsistent, you probably have an offer or some other structural problem somewhere else. Without visibility, we wouldn't know any of that. Everything's just going to feel random. With visibility, everything starts to become clear. Clarity is what ultimately creates control in your business. And so how do you know if you're operating without visibility today? Well, you can usually recognize this immediately. If you don't know your exact numbers without looking them up, you probably are lacking from a visibility problem. If you have to look up your numbers and you can't even look them up because they don't even exist and the tracking doesn't exist in your system, you definitely have a visibility problem. Or if you have to call somebody to pull these numbers together for you, you as the owner absolutely have a visibility problem. And so you're estimating performance instead of knowing performance. Problems are going to continue to surprise you instead of being visible early, and your business will never stop feeling unpredictable. And it's not because it is unpredictable, it's because it's not visible to you. And when it's not visible, it isn't controllable. And so when you start tracking the numbers every single week, something is going to happen. A shift's going to happen to your business. Your business is going to stop feeling random. You're going to start identifying patterns and problems much earlier. Decisions become vastly easier and you just stop guessing. You start leading the business based on facts, not emotions and not assumptions, but real facts. And it's one of those steps towards installing real structure in your business. And so this is where contractors begin to shift and transition from reacting to leading, from operating on instinct to operating on clarity. Because real companies operate from visibility, not from guesswork. Operate from visibility, not guesswork. And visibility is what allows structure to exist. So every business that operates with control has structure behind it. The scoreboard's just one part of that structure, and it is where visibility begins. And visibility is what allows everything else to improve. But this is where most contractors make a critical mistake. They see the problems and they try and solve them with more effort. They work harder, they become more involved, and instead of installing the structure the business actually needs, they do something else. In the next video, I'll explain the number one mistake I see contractors make when they try and scale, what actually keeps them stuck. Until next time, I'll catch you later.